Okay. Hey, everyone. We are live again back here in the Win community with Allegra Jackson Sr.
Hi.
So, just wanted to present again some of the amazing things that happened in the Win Garden Party. Okay. We had it on Saturday,
Yes,
and
it was
now we're
amazing.
she ready, y'all. So we're gonna give you guys some recaps on how the experience was, especially for our, attendees that may have come for the first time, sponsors, vendors, and our presenters. Now, you did your presentation and of your card game. And first of all, let's do introductions before we go into it because this was a highlight. We actually, I got people texting me and saying their testimonials about the event, and this was mentioned more than a few times. So when you come to our meetups, it's not just about networking and talking about your business. It's really a demonstration of how you want people to see and feel what you're doing. So, Mom, tell me a little bit about your experience. Introduce yourself to everyone and what you did at the garden party, and let's get into it.
Okay, so I'm Allegra Jackson Sr. and her mom. And what I did was I introduced my card game, To Be Honest. And it was an amazing group of women there. And I was just so excited that my daughter invited me to showcase this. There would not have been a better place to have done that than at her garden party. And if you missed it, you really missed it. It was really, really nice. But anyway, I used this as a icebreaker, and basically I gave everyone a card and asked questions on the card that you ask yourself pretty much, and you share it with your partner. So here's a question that says, "What's something you've learned from a past relationship?" That's a loaded question. Then my response is, "To be honest." Hmm. So I have to answer that question given 1 minute, or I can just not. Okay, so I'm given 1 minute to answer it or not. But as an icebreaker, you kind of want to share because as ladies, as women, we tend to be a little bit more um, closed and not as honest as we need to be. So the goal was to get us as women to share. And that's pretty much what we did. So this is another question that you have. What is your question?
Well, first of all, I just want to comment on the actual experience. I watched from the sidelines, all right? This is the first time I've been actually able to see the game in the Win community. And y'all know how we love to network and we really want supportive spaces that are safe for women. But what I saw was everyone was out of their chair.
Yes.
And everyone was partnered up, connecting, and they had a card, and each person had to do that. And what I saw in the scheme of it all was that people learned some incredible things about people that they had no idea about from the beginning,
And about themselves.
And about themselves.
Yes, it was really nice.
It was nice, and shout out to all of the attendees because we had some. We had some people there that I know a little difficult when it comes to how they respond to things, and I think that everyone was so at ease with this game that it didn't matter if you were closed usually.
They were ready. As a matter of fact, I believe her name was Nikki. We had the recording on, and I explained that when you play this game with your friends or family members or significant others or your crew, whatever, you want to set ground rules. And one of the ground rules was maybe no judgment zone. Mm-hmm. And you want to create a safe environment to answer the question I just did not answer. And Nikki turned off the recording because she was being respectful of that moment.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. So we are learning a lot, and I'm proud of you, Mom, because you did an amazing job. So shout out to you, okay? Yes. And oh, hey, Dawn. She said, "Hey, Mom."
Hello.
Dawn is our newest Win ambassador in Florida. So not Yay. South North, just Florida. And Dawn is amazing. She's been showing up in amazing ways. And just we talking about doing it scared, right? Because Dawn knows what we're talking about. Were you scared?
No. I was not scared, but I was not ready either. So there's a difference because I did share and being transparent and being honest. I did share that I am somewhat of a perfectionist. I don't like putting myself out there without it being polished and ready to go. And this one challenged me.
I'll just be like, put it out there.
And I did, and got some amazing feedback. So,
yeah, I thought you did. I actually was shocked at the way that everyone responded because we never know how people are going to respond to your brand unless you put it out there.
True.
So you got everyone off their feet. This was our icebreaker. People were engaged. They didn't want to stop playing, to be honest with
because
you.
we have music.
To be honest, they didn't want to stop playing.
Music.
So there was music, and then you actually came up with other ideas afterwards. You talked about as to like how to get them back to their seats, and
yeah, it was hard. I didn't do an activity to get them back to the seats. Normally, I would have done something to get them back to the seats, play some really nice music, but I made the mistake, maybe you can say, of playing Boots. Was it Boots?
Boots on the ground. Woo!
Nobody wanted to stop.
Nobody wanted to sit down after that. So.
My bad. But it turned into an all-out party because we were ready to start, you know.
Look, I try my best to keep these things structured, guys. So, yeah, Dawn says she knows how you feel. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you, Dawn, for sharing. Why does it say share my referral link? Y'all, listen, they be trying to get me to sell y'all everything. So I appreciate it, Dawn. And you know, one of the things also, because Clivia is the leader out there with Dawn. Okay. So Clivia is in Sanford, where you're from.
Oh, that's my hometown.
Yeah, so y'all may have some things in common. Also, I want to ask you a little bit more about this game because I've seen it at the forefront now in the community and how it impacts them, right? So I'm going to ask you a question about, let's rewind and let's go back to the beginning. Okay. What made you want to make this game?
Because for me, my mindset is always to be the best version of yourself. And I'm just that person. And sometimes I go hard for other people. And sometimes people just are comfortable being who they are. They're not trying to be the best version of themselves. So I backed off, you know, but at the same time, I feel like everyone needs some way of sharing who they really are to somebody. And this is just a fun, entertaining way of doing it without putting yourself out there, you know, because not everyone's going to ask you about you. So this is just one way of sharing something about yourself to other people, to get them to know a little bit about you, and also a way of you kind of wondering about yourself and why I don't, handle conflict well, and, what are some things I can do different or better. Just the opportunity to give you that moment. And so I feel like we all need that, but in a world that's very busy and we're entertained all the time, we just don't take that time to be alone with ourselves and grow. So this is just a fun way to grow together.
I love that. Listen, I'm not that intentional. Y'all know how I am. You either get it or you got it, okay? But my mom cares a little more, so she's gonna work with y'all on a different level. But this is why we all have to share our gifts and actually do what we're purposed to do. Because I love how you check me all the time. You're like, well, they're not there yet. And I'm like, that's fine. You take them. And I love the fact that this is something that can grow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a few people purchase these.
Yeah.
At the event, and it's not even ready for sale yet. Like we pre-sold several of these at the event because it was such a hit. Now they can still buy.
Thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all who bought without me even being ready, because that inspired me. 1995, y'all. 1995. Don't know when it's coming out, but not too long, because you guys, kind of helped me accountable to say, okay, give you your money. Now I'm gonna need you to get on this.
Yes.
So I'm on it, but like I said, I try to do my best with it, and so you will get the best version of me.
But I think before I go into because we're gonna wrap this up soon, but before I go into that, this reminds me of just kind of not having it perfectly done, but just doing it right, and then the results of that actually motivating you to take the next step.
Yeah, because I feel, there's an accountability in anything that you do. All of you who are out there, working on your brand and doing what you do, I'm sure you don't put out any mess. You want to give your best. And that's just what we do. Anyone who's a part of the WIN community, you want to win at what you do. And so we represent. And so that's me, representing WIN in that way. And so I want to do my best. And I'm not going to give you nothing but my best. So just the mere fact that you guys see the value in a To Be Honest card game, not just for a general audience, but we got a To Be Honest for a crew.
I want the crew. I'll take that right now.
You have, about 4, 5, 6 of you guys together. You want to ask some questions to each other. What are some of the fun, memorable memories we've had as a crew? What are some things that we could do differently as a crew? Those are some crew questions. And then I also have a version for the workplace balance, because some of us still are in corporate. We got 1 feet over here,
Yep.
1 foot over here,
Mhm.
you know. So you kind of, you know, can use this as a card game to play at your job if you're doing an icebreaker at your job, you know, to say, maybe you'll put a question that says, if I was CEO, what would I do differently here? You know, it just kind of gives that opportunity, you know, to have a voice where no one's going to actually come to you and say, hey, if you were CEO, what would you do differently here?
I love that intentionality. So I actually used your cards with my relationship. So aside from the win party, because this is what came up for me just now, y'all. Because you know, me and my boo be working through it. Well, I'm very transparent with you all about that, because outside of what we do as women in our careers, right, our relationships are part of everything. It's the whole ecosystem. So if our relationships are not giving, it affects us. And when you were talking about the questions, I was like, well, let me test this, because Chuck was there that day.
Yeah.
He was curious about it too. So I said, well, let me take advantage. So we actually took time aside as a couple. And we started reading your cards, and, you know, and I found out some things about my boo. Honey, when I say I'm going to change some things, because I think you know, you created a wave where people don't feel judged, like you said. And it's more a game than it is a why this and why that. And I think that it comes from a passionate place when we care about others, but we don't know how to relay that message to them. So this definitely helped my relationship itself. So I was like, I'm keeping this. The crew part, I think, is great, because we have communities. We have people in communities. How many times you guys are like uncomfortable in the spaces that you want to be a part of? And when you include these type of activities, I think it just overall
it makes it so much more fun. You know, it's nothing worse than having something on your mind that you would love to share, but you never had the space, opportunity to share. And now you're in a group setting where they're actually inviting you to share. You know, if you could do anything in the world and money was not of an object, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow. You know, what would I do? You know, it kind of speaks to your character. It is exciting. You can dream a little.
Okay. Well, we're going to ask the future of this brand in a moment, but I know that people were buying. Are you still allowing people to buy their decks? Because I know I had a couple questions. Okay. So she's still giving you guys an opportunity to get your decks, because I think you have a limit on your beta testing gifts that you were giving out. Because, you know, guys, you know, when you do pre-sales and when you put things out there and people are that big on it, because everybody was like, oh, can I get mine? Can I get mine? You do have to be very intentional. So we have a crowdfunding campaign that my mom's putting out soon. You guys will be able to donate and support the startup funds for that. But this game by itself, if you just want your own deck when it first comes out, that's on one of the gift lists. But you do want to reach out and say, I want my deck. Okay, so I want you to drop in the comments,
I want my deck.
Well, no, not that whole thing. Just comment deck or DM the word deck.
Go ahead.
Mother. Thank y'all. Just DM the word deck, and we will definitely make sure you get the information to get yours. Okay. So now that we've got don't interrupt me no more. What do you think about the future of To Be Honest? How does it look to you to take this to the next level? I know we're here, and I know we want to stay focused in the present, but we also want to have foresight as to where we want to go. Where do you see that?
I see a deluxe package, you know, where you can purchase not just one deck of cards, but you can purchase multiple decks. Then the deluxe package will have the To Be Honest general version. It'll have the To Be Honest crew version, the To Be Honest work-life balance. We're going to do a To Be Honest relationship. Someone else had talked about To Be Honest for the spiritual, the church.
Oh,
groups,
that's good. I didn't think about
church
that.
Groups, you know, things
the
like that.
Faith-based,
the faith ones. Yes. There's so many places direction you can go with this. But I just plan on continuing to develop this in a way that could spark conversation in a fun way to help us get to know more about each other, you know, because we can be in a group with someone for years and never know that they even are married, you know, or have children, or, you know, what their favorite food is. I mean, little things like that, you know, it's just good to know, so that if I'm sick or depressed or going through something, maybe you just buying me an Almond Joy chocolate candy bar would just do it for me. So I like Almond Joy.
She do like Almond Joy. I don't know why.
It's something.
Because almonds are not joy for me.
It's just the thought that counts, and just knowing.
Don't they have coconut in it?
I love coconut. But my point is that that's who don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
It's a basic human need, and this card game just helps us to do that in an intentional way, in a fun way that shows care. And by us doing this, we learn more about each other, we learn more about ourselves, and then on top of that, what we're going to do is have a self-help book.
Yes, workbook.
It's a workbook
Mm-hmm.
that's going to also help you to continue to grow if you choose to do so. So,
oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Dawn. Dawn has been with us throughout the whole entire live. Shout her out for just participating and just being such a good sport of this. Honestly, guys, we're going to keep these replays on so that you guys can see the recaps and reactions all this week. So stay tuned for more, because all this week we have vendor sponsors, supporters, attendees, and we want to highlight the things that they were able to bring to the garden party, because community is about all of us coming together. It's never about one person, one thing. In order for this weekend to have words, we all came together to do that. It would have been a different experience if we wouldn't have added all of our components.
Every woman that was there mattered. I mean, everyone contributed to the success of the weekend. So, you know, your presence was missed.
Yeah.
Everyone who was there contributed to the success of this weekend.
Yeah, and that's what every event. So that's why we say you belong in the room, right?
Yep.
Like you belong in the room.
Yeah.
So knowing that they can eventually buy their 3-bundle deal, shout out to Nikki, because I am drinking her non-alcoholic wine. Okay, now we have our own wine fundraiser, but for my birthday, I got my own bottle of her Neo Noir. Okay, and she did an amazing job. She's going to be coming up this week soon. You had some of her stuff?
I did. I mean, that mushroom tea.
Oh, I forgot about the mushroom tea.
I'm
not to die for.
Oh my God, it's so good. You wouldn't get mine. My best friend was with me. I said, you gotta get your own.
Yeah, she did. She did make her
get
her own.
It was so good.
I truly believe that experience was unique. I didn't expect her to bring mushroom tea, but I have had her non-alcoholic wine, and then we found out that she has a huge background in agriculture, right?
Right.
So we never know, but shout out to you, Nikki. Thank you for sponsoring. Thank you for supporting. Thank you, Mom, Allegra Senior, for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and being such a huge part of the win success. Thank you, Mom. Aww. So make sure y'all guys shout out my mom, okay, before I fight y'all. And then make sure that you support her. And she still has cards for sale. Now, I know that you're very intentional. You wrote your whole business plan. You laid it out. So I already know that my mom is going to be running and shooting straight from the ground as soon as this campaign launches. So guys, don't miss out on your opportunity to get this while it's fresh. All right. Any final words first before we get out of here?
No, that's it. Just thank you all for your support, and good luck on your endeavors and whatever it is that you're doing as well.
Awesome. All right, guys, you have an amazing week, and we will see you later in the win. Bye.